Hi, I just want to talk about the importance of social media and how it's like an amazing thing and how it affects us so greatly and oh, 1 second. Oh, wow. And just like that, an hour's passed. One notification on my phone is all it takes for me to be completely engrossed into my phone. And just like that can happen to me and it can happen to you, it happens to the millions of teenagers across the world right now. And an excessive social media use contributes to the rising rates of anxiety, depression, and loneliness among teenagers. And understanding that these effects is key to protecting our youth's mental health because our youth are very important. And first thing I want to talk about is I'll explain how social media affects teens emotionally and psychologically. Next, I'll discuss how addictive design features make it hard to limit screen time. And finally, I'll suggest some solutions we can have that parents, schools, and policymakers can help mitigate these adverse effects. Now, let's begin examining how social media impacts teenagers' mental health and emotional well being. There's been a rise of just how many times a day students use social media. Studies show that teens who spend more than 3 hours a day on social media have a higher rate of anxiety and depression. Those studies were taken by the American Psychological Association, a top association talking about psychological affairs, meaning that they know exactly what they're talking about because that is what they're based on. And I think it's very important to look at who it's affecting. And since it said teens are our basis, our group of people are going to soon be adults. Teens are the next adults, and teens are the future. And I think it's important that we make sure that we look into what's affecting our teens. And there's a glowing alarm rate of how much anxiety and depression teens have in today's day and age. And I think one of the primary reasons is the constant exposure to filtered images and online comparison, which increases the feelings of inadequacy and loneliness. I know for myself, it's a very important, it happens all the time. I look at a video and I see a guy who's lifting 300 pounds on the bench press, and I'm like, wow, I wish I could do that. And I just constantly look at this, and I'm not taking myself to the gym, and so it makes me feel like, oh, I say I want to be like this guy, but I'm not the gym. I'm just such a loser. Oh, I just failed. Oh, I just suck. All these different things, and it makes me just feel depressed, and it makes me feel like I have anxiety. I see all these people who have girlfriends and boyfriends and all this other stuff, and I'm like, man, I really wish that was me, but I don't have one. Oh man, all my friends have dating, and I see them going on these cool vacations and hanging out with each other on social media. I really wish that was me. It's okay that I don't have that, but me constantly seeing this on social media makes me feel like it's not okay. And once you realize that, hey, you can live your life fine without being on social media and seeing all these things, life can get a whole lot better. But it's not just about the emotions. There's a reason social media keeps teens hooked. It's by design. Platform uses features like infinite scrolling and notification to trigger dopamine responses and keep users engaged. And I'm not blaming these companies for doing it because they want to get paid. They're looking for what can help get them the top dollar. But however, we as people need to self-regulate. However, these companies have things that limit the parent controls and self-regulation, which is difficult for adolescents whose brains are developing. So without them being able to review what they need to do and how to stop being constantly on social media, it really makes them on it more and more and more. And this is dove deeper in a systematic review the influence of social media on depression, anxiety, and psychological distress in adolescence, which is a great article written by Keels and many more of their people. And I think that if we honestly looked at these issues and were able to relegate how much we're on social media, it would make us less depressed and have us more affecting our society and having us being able to positively affect our lives and being able to feel more productive, which will make us feel less depressed and have less anxiety because we felt like we did something with our lives. And lastly, I want to address this growing concern and how we can protect our users. And off of what I just said, it's self-regulation. And I think one way that we can help self-regulate is by having schools can include programs helping teach students how to properly use social media and greatly affect their well-being. And schools constantly already have things about that. And I think that the best way to do that is by having schools make programs on it. And another thing that we can have is policymakers should relegate harmful design features and promote healthier digital environments, which was also looked at by the American Psychological Association. And I think that it's always good to understand what the problem is. And when you understand the problem, you're able to address the problem in the best way possible. And so by doing that, we need to look at how the policymakers are designing things to be more affecting and addicting to people to keep them engaged, and maybe find a way that keeps them engaged but also doesn't force them to or encourage them to stay on it for a longer period of time. And I just wanted to say that today we did explore how social media harms teens' mental health and how it designs deepen these issues and what steps we can take to promote awareness and change. And I think that social media is not going to go away, and it probably never will go away. But instead of trying to fight it, we need to understand its effects and use those effects to ensure that it connects us rather than control us. Thank you so much for your time. Have a great day.